Here we are on Anubis, Boggs and Paladin on the call, Detonate and Timbermen in the server, Source 2 rumors in the mill. Welcome to ECL Season 44 North America. This one decides who makes playoffs and who has their season ended. They will not get relegated. Neither team will have to fight in the relegation tournament. They are safe and stuck in ECL for the next season. But that's the thing. They want into Pro League. They want playoffs. It starts with the pistol round. Frankie charging in Cryptic, trying to back away, gets one on the P2000, swings out for a second. Shane gets dropped. Dare and company trying to get the bomb down around the pillar, but Micros come through. Slight has fallen, but only one for Dare. All up to Snav, stuck in the river, and he's up the river without a paddle. It's a pretty clean pistol round victory for Detonate, and a great start for them on the CT side.
That's that simple CS that I'm talking about, just charging down middle there, trying to overwhelm these CT players, and Cryptic stands up tall to get that double. And even then, they were still willing to give the bomb plan over, but the gunfights earlier on all work out in favor of Detonate. They get on the board early, and we can already start to see just that crisp rotation, and the ideas already feeling a little bit faster on the Detonate side of things out the gates.
And the aim, too. Pretty crisp shots coming in from Cryptic on the initial contact, and then swinging out for the second kill as well. The rotation's well-timed, quick, and efficient. And now aggression coming through from Slight, but he's not going to overextend. He's going to back away, stay alive. Does not want to give space and time to these Glocks to establish. So that's a good bit of heads-up Counter-Strike right there. Go for the peek. Don't get the kill. Cool. Stay alive. That's your goal.
Keeping as many men alive in this scenario is the name of the game. And of course, the cherry on the top is just to get those MP9 kills, start swelling that CT economy. But, of course, the end game is just to secure this round. There'll just be these walkouts, these heads-up 1v1 duels that most of these Timbermen will not be able to win, just simply because of their stock pistols. So it's mostly just trying to get through this round, see how much damage you can do, and get the guns out in the next. It won't be the prettiest third round buy, but, I mean, of course, a bomb plant would definitely change that.
Bomb plant would be great, but probably far from ideal, though Brett has to fall away. Freshie on his AUG will get one. Brett picks up another one, playing for E-Box. He'll get another on the sidearm. Cryptic has to come in, but only one kill on the SMG. Not the best for the overall economy of Detonate, but it doesn't matter. They kept all five alive. They have the AUG, the FAMAS still in the round, although the FAMAS, I'm not a big fan of it, Paladin. I think it's kind of trash, but hey, it's probably better than having 4 MP9s at this point.
Yeah, no, at this point, I think you could definitely try to bonus in this situation. You probably have enough money to just have a full buy in the following. Maybe make these MP9 Slight and Cryptic just be a little bit more aggressive on range.
Ooh, that's really good from Droid. 3K from Droid. Finally traded out. And this is still a winnable situation from Detonate. The only problem is the two players alive only have MP9s. And that means Frankie, Shane, and Dare can really take these fights. One for Frankie, but it's messy. Traded instantly by Cryptic into a 1v2. And making the right read back to the B site. No utility thrown by Dare, but Cryptic still closing the gap as the bomb yet to go down. Finally going down by the obelisk. Cryptic. It's going to come down to the 1v1 duels. Can he isolate them, or will he get caught in the crossfire? Shane's in a good spot to be able to flip around and protect Dare should the engagement arise. Dare around that corner. It's a solid setup for the T side. Cryptic has the first fight, but misses the spray. Dare puts him down, doesn't need help. But the bonus round costs a lot of players for Timbermen. And for Detonate, that was actually decently salvageable compared to how it started out.
It was really, really close. I mean, honestly, that 2v1 felt a little bit disjointed. I think the spacing could have been a bit better, but overall, Dare still converts the kill, no harm, no foul. But as you said, Boggs, 3 kills is everything they're looking for. A huge number of kills on Cryptic's back. It still allows the AWP to come out for Slight. So they're still sitting very pretty. Of course, now the coffers have run dry. Now they've kind of got to make this investment count here. But getting Slight's big green out early is definitely one to be excited about.
The lack of utility is a concern, I think, for Detonate, but if they hit their shots, they won't really even need it. This flash, though, for Dare in Snav's gonna peek with it. Freshie blind. The counter peek's not there. Brett peeks with a nade. That is costly. That's a big blunder. And that opens up some space for Timbermen to take advantage of. 4v4 does favor the T side, and with the lack of firepower and utility already there for Detonate, that's going to be incredibly impactful in this round. Somebody's going to have to step up big time. Maybe that op of Slight with Timbermen edging over to the opposite side of the map. Bit of a peek from Micro, clearing out that cubby. But a stall-out play from Timbermen with about 55 on the clock to work around, just gearing up for this A exec.
Smoke's still up for Cryptic. He gets one. He can drop this. Yeah, this is perfect timing. As soon as the execute's coming in, they mistime it, a little bit of miscomms. And so they know there's two individuals on this A site trying to pivot back into E box, but time is really dwindling here, Boggs. They've got to get a move on here.
The op's got middle. The op has that information. And now rotating back towards the B site proper. Droid clears up E-Box, makes noise spraying at the body. Brett just needs one. He needs one, and he gets that one. That's going to throw the cake into chaos. Time running down. The ops arrived, and it's all up to Frankie. 4 alive for Detonate. And it all started with a bit of an interesting start towards E-Box that didn't exactly favor the CT side. Slight shotgun ops Frankie as he crosses into the crosshair. And that's 3 on the board now for Detonate. And even more important than potentially winning that bonus round was winning this round with 4 alive. That does wonders for that CT economy.
You can definitely see how much more comfortable they're going to feel heading into this round. And more importantly, you can just start to see Slights getting warmed up, hitting some 2 crisp shots. They're not the most difficult shots, but you can definitely feel as though he's slowly starting to warm into this game. 3-1 now for Detonate. Full Glocks for Timbermen. I say full Glocks. We've got 2 Deagles out for Snav and Frankie. But other than that, not much to write home about. Nothing really too complex from the Timbermen right now. No real mid-rounding. It's trying to just play super pack mentality CS and try to overwhelm some of these CT players, these CT anchors in particular. And they're going to do the same thing here. Just a walk out onto the A site. Micro has to be up to the task here.
I mean, that's pretty much what Timbermen do on every map, though, isn't it? It's just this kind of group mentality. All right, if we throw a problem, we should be able to solve it. This could be a bomb plant, and should be a bomb plant. It's conceded by Detonate, and actually, Frankie's going to get the opening kill. Cryptic's done a lot of damage. Slight has to come in and help. Cryptic has to go to the sidearm, and now Slight's fallen as well. Snav and Droid have popped up for 2, bringing it to a level footing. But Droid mowed down by Fresh. He takes a lot of damage. Winnable for Snav. Time not quite on the side of the nades, forcing him into the open. Freshie delivers the finishing blow. Op will be recovered. Costly round for Detonate. The only saving grace is their 4 alive in the previous round, but conceding the bomb plant to Glocks, not ideal in this early going still. Already up to 4 rounds on the CT side of a map, which has yet to really have its CT side established.
Yeah, and I think Detonate, they do their best work on that terrorist side. You'll see that when we switch over, how much more drilled they have. They have just way more set pieces in their playbook, which you'll definitely see on that A site. And I think you're right, Boggs. Timbermen do largely enjoy that pack mentality CS, where they can just brute force their way into these sites with trade fragging. But I'd like to think that they have just a little bit more, how do you say, like just a bit more setup in some of these flashes and these Molotovs to kind of get them into favorable positions. So far, I haven't seen enough of that from them. Of course, the economy hasn't been under them so far, and there's still a lot of rounds to play with. But I'd like to see a little bit more diversity and see if they have more development rounds as the series progresses, or more so this map progresses.
Well, they've got the opening pick, that spray through the smoke onto the E-Box peak from Brett. He's been a bit unlucky in this angle so far. Opens up some room for Timbermen, but they're not going off of it. They're still stalling about. Starting to group up towards that B site. Making it slow and steady. Methodical. Cryptic going for some info. Flashes Shane off the angle. But it's this E-Box pop up towards the lone Freshie that concerns me. Micro's coming into support, but both of these players only have a flashbang. This take, if it has some utility to go with it, is going to be very lethal. Cryptic's also bolstered. They're stacking 3-1, leaving the op alone. Micro eating util. The nade, the second nade will chunk him down more. Freshie, or rather, Cryptic's removed first. Freshie has nothing. Finally gets one, but that's far too little too late. And Timbermen about to string a couple, or get their second round on the board. Not quite stringing something together yet, but it's a good start. The op will save, but a very curious hold on the site from Detonate.
Yeah, it felt like they had the right read. They were just about to make that timing in where they could get snuggled into the site, but I guess some of those positions had just been understood. The nades from Ebox, a little bit of gap on that smoke. I'm not sure if that was a T smoke or not, because that smoke actually really helped that Ebox player to kind of stretch his legs, throw some nades in, make the site players, the back default players, uncomfortable in particular. And Timbermen get themselves a comfortable little second there. Slight. Oh, I'm not really sure if he's going to be able to save this. I think Dare might have seen a barrel. Yeah.
Yikes. That was ugly.
And with that, you look at all of these players that are on kind of hovering around the double eco territory. They'll have 3 rifles on the ground, but this is going to be an ugly buy here, Boggs, to kind of decide which way this half is going to go early on.
Whose timeout is this? This better be a Detonate timeout. And no, it's a Timberman timeout.
Interesting.
Timbermen are actually going to call 2 tactical timeouts here. Spoiler alert.
I think it's fine. I think just based off of the kind of dangerousness that this round can portray, I think Timbermen are aware of this money situation, how if they do get this one, this means that you can potentially equalize, maybe even get a foothold on a potential 5th. So understanding the gravitas of the scenario, trying to just iron out this gun round of sorts, and see what they can do moving forward. Slight still is yet to buy. I'd like to think that he's just going to be going on a pistol, or at best maybe an MP9. But how do they want to kind of regardless, he's not going to have a pretty buy, especially with considering that armor situation as well.
Yeah, I think he's just going to stay USP, kind of be bait for the team so we can get that op. And if they win the round, cool. If they don't, then he'll save, have extra money for the op when they're able to buy up again at 4 all. I think that's the plan.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Okay, take stock. Dare is still yet to whip out his own AWP, which is fine. I think that 5 rifles on the T side of Anubis is fine. I don't necessarily feel like there's too many aggressive op angles that you can take earlier on other than that bottom T stairs peak. And honestly, the potency of an op comes more so for the T's on the post plants. And I think that risk reward, Timbermen don't even want to run with it as of right now.
Cryptic's got to be careful up mid. Frankie goes for it a little bit too late. Could have had a free kill through that smoke, but Cryptic's able to back off in time. This mid engagement not been favorable to Detonate so far. Little push towards the river as well. Droid's holding for it, waiting for somebody to cross in. Micro's just going to post up instead. It's going to come down to who blinks first. It's a game of chicken right now. And it looks like Timbermen are going to be the ones to peek in. Droid with a nice headshot. No trade available at all. Not even a gun to be salvaged there. Slight did end up buying a 5-7. Oh, that's nice on the Cryptic from Frankie. And that's just going to start a downward spiral for Detonate and a scale up towards a victory in the round for Timbermen. But they could walk into the trap here. There's 2 players stacked up on the B site. But with Slight being removed, I don't see a world in which Timbermen lose this round.
Well, Brett does get one. Freshie another. They're aware of the positioning of Freshie jumping in back default, but absolutely no idea of where Brett was located. That bait and switch setup works wonderfully. Unluckily, however, Droid has already taken the A site. Bomb plant should still come in. No kits up for Detonate, so this is going to be an ugly retake should they decide to go through with it. But honestly, Boggs, I'd prefer a save here, regardless of the heroics that they could put up on the B site.
Just save here. Save. Use these guns next round. Do some damage. Keep the Timberman economy honest. Keep it from getting out of control. That's kind of what they have to do at this point. Because next round, they're not going to have a full buy-up. Their loss bonus is, I think, 1,900. So, just save now. Go into the next round. Do what damage you can. If you can save these 2 guns again next round, be fantastic. But, other than that, it's pretty much a watchable round. which is unfortunate for Detonate, but Timbermen have really started to come alive here, more on the peaks than anything, getting Detonate into isolated 1v1 duels, and then just ripping heads from shoulders.
Yeah, you could see in just the opening setup there, as soon as Detonate were deciding to disassemble that main setup, that's when the swing comes through, the opening entry comes through, and things just go from bad to worse. That's when Timbermen do their best work, when they make you uncomfortable with that opening advantage. That's where they kind of just extend those man advantages into uglier and uglier rounds for their opposition. And this time it's a bit faster of a take in mid. The double molly setup, as usual, it's become meta at this point.
Yep.
Ooh, a cute little boost here for Slight. A bit of a gamble on the B site as well, but with this mid take coming through and Droid being posted up on the bottom side of main, this feels like it has a bit of a timer on it.
It does. They're going to have to make a move here. Time ticking down to the minute 10 mark. Droid with the smoke prepped and ready to go. Lets that one fly. Goes back to toss a little more util. Nobody here on this A site, as Timbermen are going to split their way in. Detonate. It's worth the gamble here. If you get a couple of kills out of the round, maybe you can save a couple extra guns. That's more than you can expect, realistically. So maybe send the pistols in. Cryptic, Micro. Actually, Micro only is $1,000. Save that. Save the vest. Oh, they're gonna fight. They're gonna fight. They win the first duel, but there's going to be more. They got two.
Another.
But Dare's position, he can get both if they push through, and he does catch Slight, or he does catch Slight from behind. But now I think they've been tempered. Dare gets Cryptic as well, getting too greedy for the guns. And maybe a third effort. Wow, drive by Micro. Some of these kills have been pretty bizarre. The way that people are just finding kills through smokes like that.
It's actually pretty awesome to see that the timings are understood by Timbermen. And we saw a couple of spams earlier on the gun round and Brett dying in E-Box very early on. There are certain, at least basic nade protocols that Timbermen have, which I'm very happy with, that they are prepared on this map. It's not necessarily just kind of a freewheel type of situation. Slight actually does get his hands on an AWP after all that commotion. So good amount of damage. You keep over a rifle and an op, and you get the buyout in the next. Honestly, not the worst round for Detonate to lose in that scenario.
No, not at all. And they've done some damage again, keeping the economy relatively honest. 3 players at 5k or above. Detonate going to call a timeout now. Try and keep a lead here. They don't want to go down right now. They don't want to give Timbermen a leg up. If they can maintain a lead going into half number 2, I think Detonate can have a pretty smooth ride to the finish on map number 1. But so far, this map has definitely fit the show bill we were hyping it up to be. Pretty equivalent in terms of skill. Bit of a difference in play styles, but overall, a solid game of Counter-Strike 8 rounds in. Slight's op, though, needs to have a little more impact. It had the one round where you got a couple of close kills on the B site, but I think the op needs to be taking point in a lot of these early engagements. That's going to be the best way to stymie Timbermen's offensive prowess, where they're finding that opening duel and winning it outright. Use the op to even that and just take it out. Take out the rifles. Get that man advantage. Settle down. Sit back. The little chip damage on that nade on a Snav and Shane is also going to help out if it comes to an M4 duel. But as of now, Detonate just keeping that op pretty passive over on B, but they're taking B long control. Lots of space taken. And Brett's still going to hang out. They're going to rotate back towards A, and I think they read this incredibly well.
Yeah, Slight won't be here for the site in itself, but up to Cryptic to get at least one, but he doesn't even get one box.
That's not enough. He needs more. Low HP on snap, but the bomb's going down. 4v5 retake from Detonate, and Brett is so far away. They only have a flash and a Molotov on this retake, too. The smoke will fade, but Timbermen need to not give out enough for free. Dare's going to peek, and he's going to destroy Micro. Has the angle advantage. Micro kind of sleeping at the wheel right there, and that's going to be a save call initiated for Detonate, and this has to be a save. They don't have money, and they've lost everything. Just one kill could have spurred them in for a retake. They needed that opening kill, and Dare just decides to call their bluff. That was a good peek.
It seems as though the proactivity from Detonate is just a tad too late. You see them slowly starting to walk out B long, but they're not necessarily prepared with any sort of utility to delay on the A side of things when that's happening. They kind of let them walk up main for free, and that puts, I believe, Micro in a very awkward scenario. I believe it was Cryptic. Cryptic was in an awkward scenario where he needed one and couldn't actually convert anything. Had no setup from his Heaven player. They had to play retake. And those 4v5s can get very ugly with the lack of veto. I believe they only had a single Molotov on Brett. And so not being able to activate that in any sense of the word is just going to collapse things outright. And that's where you get that ugly 3v5 save. Now, Slight's going to go a little bit more aggressive this time around. Try to even the odds earlier. This is what we were looking for. Frankie up to bat, but he's not offering up anything. They're just going to go through this, charging. And Brett gets one, and they get the nade off. Slight activates it. That's more like it.
Late Molotov from Brett does cost him his life, but he does some damage onto Droid as recompense. That's a great trade from Snav, though, evening it up to a 3v3 coming in through E-Box. This round's not over just yet. Detonate, they had a good start, but it has been leveled nicely by the Timbermen. And now they're going to have to rotate Micro back towards A on the CT side. They can't let this stack go. You can't gamble this round. There's a lot of time on the clock for the T's to work with. The
pause was great by Timbermen. They want to see if there's any sort of CT reaction. That smoke, I believe, is for the site itself. Yeah, they'll be dropping in front E-Box, but Slight peeks right before it drops. And this forces Snav's hand. He has to go straight into Micro. Micro's got to stall for as long as possible. Does he catch the timing correctly? Okay, he's got the info, and I think that's what's most important here. Play for the retake. You've got the man advantage. You've got 3 flashes and a smoke and a kit as well on Cryptic. And finally just putting him in the 1v3.
I feel like Snav felt pressure there to go try and open up some space for Shane to plant, but it ends up forcing Shane into an unwinnable position. He's going to stick it. Now Detonate's going to flood all in. Death balling together. The op leads the charge, and it gets the finishing frag. 5 all here. We've completed 2/3 of the first half, and we are all square. Keeping 3 alive also good for Detonate. It's going to force Timbermen to buy up again. They have plenty of money. Bomb Plant's going to keep that a little more fresh. But keep an eye on it. Timbermen's economy is not inexhaustible. But the op going aggressive, the peaks coming in from Detonate, getting those initial kills, setting themselves up for success there. Then a little bit of overextension, and that aggressive peek into E-Box from Slight. That kind of sealed the round right there.
Yeah, you want to keep Slight active. Don't let him post up. That's a secondary ops job. His job is to kind of continue moving around the map and not necessarily post up, but look for fights. You saw in the E-Box fight, the mid fight as well. And this time, it's on the back of a pillar. You'll love to see it. Slight slowly starting to find his groove and find his movements around the map.
Yeah, that's exactly what they needed. Activate Slight. He is the man you want to be activating right now. It's a map with a lot of range duels. Let the op take the fights. You have a competent opper. He hits his shots. Let him have some fun. Let him get into the game and take control of the game. See if you could force an op out of Timbermen as well, because that will slow down their T side significantly if they have to use an op to try and get an opening frag. Of course, Dare hasn't really gone for the op yet. Oh, snap, he's got an angle, but there's the trade peek from Brett. Another bait and switch over on B from the Detonate side. They really do like this map. They've got a few ins and outs on these side holds. That's a bit unlucky for Micro, though. He gets the kneecap, and Dare responds right back. Cryptic gone, and Slight alone on A to try and hold off against 3. Peeking around. Op misses. He's stuck behind the hill. Has to go. 3 players peek him, and he cannot hit the 1. Bomb to go down, but damage done, and Frankie caught by Freshie. Dare holding up in towards Heaven. Peeks in. Freshie dodges, stays alive. The nades, the HEs can be critical, especially on the Shane. He's playing the headshot angle, and he catches Freshie. Brett, 2 HP. Will the nade hit? Will it connect? No, it goes astray. And it's going to come down to 1 bullet from either player. Time dwindling, about half of it gone already at the 40-second timer. Brett makes... oh, he's going to go down into the open. And Shane had all the advantages. Timbermen stay ahead of Detonate, but only slightly.
What an awkward round. You just had that weird mid-round for aggression down in middle, and just the main timing. Again, the CT aggression, like buddy system plays that Detonate are trying to do, are just a tad bit late. And they get caught out, and you see that connector rotation, for CT connector rotation, also getting caught out. And it just turns the entire round upside down. They can just pivot on mid side. And they flood into the A bomb side. The trades are just not good enough. Cryptic tries to get activated with an op of his own. And can't seem to find anything on that bottom stairs peak.
Yeah, Cryptic's had some good moments early, but in the last few rounds, he's been a little slow, had some pretty big misses, and that's been exploited by Timbermen. Got guys like Dare and Droid just popping off with the rifles. And Timberman's fragging's pretty even as well. 8 on the top, 4 on the bottom. Brett on the flank, the 5-7 spots the bomb, drops it. And now Brett's going to try and stick around for more. He wants them to peek. He's daring them to peek. P250 around for Micro, gets one. Brett and Micro do fall to Shane and Droid, but Slight has one more on the 5-7. The busted pistol has found a pair. The bomb has found a space on B to go down behind the obelisk. Rotations coming through. Cryptic has that off, and he's scoped in, but Droid, dastardly shot. Only 2 left for each side now. No kit for Detonate. Slight, no armor, but AK, Freshy, CZ, and all alone. He's got Frankie for free, though. That gets him a gun, and he's got some time to work with as well for the 10-second defuse. It's going to come down to this duel against Droid. With that smoke fading, Freshy might just take initiative if he swings the obelisk, though. Droid's got the angle. Freshy was quick swapping to a pistol, and now Freshy has to try and stick this bomb. He's got no time. Round is over in the favor of the Timbermen. It's all about the damage now. Recovering the op, it seems, is modus operandi too, but I think Freshy might be dead here depending on the bomb radius. Ooh, he's safe.
Ooh, that got real nerve-wracking there. Freshy had the drop, but I think that quick switch did cost him. Maybe a heads-up duel that could have been winnable, but it's all close and horseshoes and hand grenades at this point. Freshy still gets out with the AWP. I think that's honestly the most important thing. Keeping Slight in kind of these advantageous scenarios where he can continue laying down the law, that's what we're looking for. So having more bites at the cherry is definitely something to write home about for Detonate, even if they're down 2 rounds here.
If they can bring this back at 6, if they get 7 rounds, they'll be more than set. But 6 rounds, I think, would be the bare minimum that Detonate should find acceptable.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, as I said previously at the beginning of this half, Detonate do their best work on the T side. That's where they seemed a little bit more drilled out. And I think, in general, the meta as of right now is we still haven't understood how the CT side works. There is no true meta, and Detonate are still learning themselves as we are the community as well.
Yeah, and also, that's a good opening duel for Dare. He does take a lot of damage, but Micro's also being chased down to half HP. Don't put a pin in that. No, we got some time with the Molotovs flying in. It seems that maps always start on the T side. And as the understanding of the map grows, it steadily grows more and more. That defense. Brett's doubled down on that double swing. Wow. He had a teammate with him, and he wasn't even needed. Freshy's just there for moral support. And now Freshy's got the nade, the spot. That could do it Dare. It's all up to Freshy. He's done 1 down. He's got Dare low. He can swing around for more, but Frankie has the better of him. Bomb going down again on the obelisk on B. Micro and Slight. They have utility. They have the op. And they have the favored HP, but it's not going to be the easiest take. Dare and Frankie having good positions. Dare's been crispy with it throughout the course of this T side. A smoke going down to guys off vision. Micro goes around the pillar, sprays away while he runs into Frankie. And that should signal a save here for Slight. He's going to go in. He's got the spot on 1. No scope onto the first. Does he know Dare is low? He has the scoping shot and the kit. It does not matter. You are right. It's Slight with some sleight of hand and a round stolen away from the Timbermen.
Oh, that's the star power of Slight, man. You've seen him do stuff like that on Strife, and you start to see like ideas of that happening on Detonate, but seeing it live and in the flesh makes it that much more sweeter. Slight with a beautiful 1v2 switches that momentum right back into their favor, and that's exactly what they're looking for, Boggs.
Slight, he's got to be a hero, but also that wouldn't have been a round without Brett and his play early.
Absolutely.
His double kill for Meebox. That sets Detonate up for success. And Timbermen do well to dismantle that. They just couldn't hold it off in the end.
Ooh. A little bit of gap in that. Damage
Yeah, I think
through
that was from
Brett.
Frankie, right?
Yeah.
Is that just a wall spam?
Well, regardless, they don't actually get any E-box control from it. 58 HP on Brett and free main control. They love leaving Micro on an island here and play retake. And it seems as though the congregation is going to be around this A main side of things. They've gotten a lot of success, especially with how effectively they've been trading. They've got this mid setup, but I don't think they can disassemble it as quickly in time.
Micro counter utility, well timed. Molotovs coming in, smokes as well. Will they smoke it? Will they go through? They'll wait it out. Detonate, have time to rotate in the op of Slight. Micro peeking around the right side, creeping behind that smoke, trying to smoke criminal this one as Slight gets picked off first by Shane. Good flash from Snap. Dare doubles down on a Micro. Frankie onto Freshie, and it's collapsing again for Detonate. Cryptic comes in for one, goes for the instant reload, backs away, tagged down to 61. Dare around the corner, meets him and wins it all. Brett just, I guess it's mission survive for him. Because you're not winning this 1v4 with no utility, no defuse kit. Yeah, there's one kit down, but still the lack of utility, the lack of health, the A-site retake. It's going to be 8-6 and a good chance for a 9th for Timbermen because the buy is going to be absolutely busted for Detonate, and especially now that Brett is met by Dare.
I think he wanted to claim that AWP at the tail end, but Dare's a little bit too quick on it. I don't even think they're even bother. Okay, I say that. Dare will hold on to it. It'll be the first and last round that Dare will use the AWP on the T side of things. But no harm, no foul. If Detonate can finally scrounge up a 7th somehow, honestly, even in this scenario, they should still be pretty happy with the haul that they've gotten. But, man, I think they've got to work on their A-side defense. It looks a little too flimsy for my liking.
I'd agree. They're getting picked off pretty easily on A, and I would say even B has had some weak points too. Cryptic going aggressive with the MP9, overstays his welcome. Snap gives him a little cranial cave-in. Slight with the Falmus, though, has knocked down a pair of pins. Only 3 left standing for the Timbermen. The op from Dare searching for a kill, but Slight does him one better with that Falmus in hand. B-side going to be the target now. Freshie's Deagle will be tested. Up close and personal. It does nothing. Dare has Brett, but Shane is low. 3v2 hold in the favor of Timbermen as the bomb gets planted in that smoke. No Molotovs, no more smokes, just flashbangs for the T side. Slight with an AK, Micro with an MP9, and no defuse kit available for Detonate unless one dropped on site.
Creeping over this AWP angle, it could get the drop on a Dare, and it does, but they've got to get a move on now, Boggs.
Oh, that's a good trade onto Micro. Slight has to do it all. Low HP player found first, has no utility, no kit.
I think it's
Taps
over.
the bomb. Frankie's not buying. He's not buying what Slight is selling, and Frankie seals it for a 9-6 half in the favor of Timbermen as we head to the break.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
Timbermen with 9 rounds on the T side, despite a pretty rough start. Detonate, they flounder with that A defense. The B defense cut open like Swiss cheese, and now they have to do the very same to the Timbermen. This pistol round could set the Timbermen up for success on map 1, though. Boggs and Paladin on the call. Snav and Shane getting dodged, and Droid getting run down by Cryptic. Frankie with a pair of headshots. Flames looking at his heels, but Micro puts him down the old-fashioned way. Bomb will be planted around the obelisk. 1 in E-box, 1 on site, 1 playing on the bomb plant there with the dualies, and I don't believe there's a kit down here, Paladin. Nope. So that timer going to become very impactful. How has Fresh even allowed to live that long? Shane finally eliminates him, but that was way too long of a duel.
Sets up Slight and Micro into the 2v3, and they've got a beautiful pair of frags. Sets up Snap into the 1v2, but Micro swings out wide. And the double swing is absolutely sublime. That's just some chemistry right there between the Detonate boys. And they get it done, Boggs.
They get it done indeed. It's a big pistol round to win, and both pistol rounds now converted by Detonate. This one coming down a little more to the wire. 2v1 instead of a 4-man staying alive, having a party. But still, the end result is the same. Both pistols converted by Detonate. Now, they shouldn't have too much trouble dealing with the USPs and the Deagle in this round. Although the Deagle can be very dangerous in the right hands. Frankie has already had a few nice little Deagle shots come through, but Brett has found him early and tagged him down to 31. That Deagle might be exchanging hands pretty quickly here, as you don't want your low HP player to hold on to that. It's not like he has armor on him. He's getting roasted and naded, and he is gone. Molly, and now Brett catches Shane trying to take the bait. Freshie with a spray, Micro with another, all up to Dare. There's a couple players low HP, and he does actually get lucky. He gets the one player who's low, and actually it's an isolated fight with the bomb down at his feet, an AK in his hands, and an opportunity to put this one to bed. No, not even one more kill. AK recovered. Overall, not too shabby for Detonate.
Yeah, that aim punch can get a little bit flimsy to work around. And Detonate navigate not the stickiest of situations, but a sticky one. And the buys do come out for Timbermen. No AWP for Dare. You'll definitely start to see him opping a little bit more now that they flipped onto the defense. But for right now, it's Mission getting the first CT round on the board and starting this defensive campaign instantaneously. Ooh. Flirting with the idea of just aggressing down mid. Shane pushes himself, but there's a little bit of an E-box peek, maybe on the fade here? No, they actually pull back.
No free duels for Detonate to take advantage of. Timbermen holding their lines quite well. B fake into an A pop looks to be the call. Utility being thrown in. B lots of nade damage onto Shane and Dare. That'll help out in terms of a retake scenario, but getting past Frankie is going to be the first test. Mac 10 leading the charge. Frankie jiggling, not seeing a shadow, gets caught. Mac 10 running, spraying, and praying. His prayers are answered, but he takes a lot of damage in doing so. Raw fight by Micro, loses that one out to Snab, who's able to reload. Droid spots across as Freshie will cross up through mid up top. Bomb down around the mid of the site, that little pillar thing. I think I've heard some people call it cake. Not too sure what the I don't think we have fully accepted callouts for most of the places on this map yet.
Not at all. We haven't played it enough to even have that position. But anyway, Snav straight through. Smoke up. And oh, I think that Molly might have missed. Regardless, it's primed Freshie for a beautiful double. They allow that mid walk up to happen, and it's just up to him. He gets another into the 1v1. I think he's gonna Molly for the bomb. Oh, that doesn't even matter. Droid doesn't have a kit. He's got to run for the hills. And Detonate have equalized situations, Boggs. They found the way. The A fake does get bitten on. Gets bitten on hard. Sorry, the B fake, rather.
Yeah, the fake worked out well. It did a lot of damage, and that damage ended up coming back to save Detonate, because it came down to the wire, and the lack of a kit for Timbermen cost them the round. And now we're all tied up again. 9-9. Detonate up against a tepid investment. The M4 save for Droid, Deagles, and some armor around it. A little bit of utility to use as well. Snap with those double flashbangs. But the deagles for Timbermen are not something to be underestimated. We saw it on the T side. They can nail some headshots. We'll probably get to see some here since they're on the defense now. A little bit of utility damage onto Droid and Snab. Droid trying to take a bit of a fight down long range as Frankie gets plucked from the server by Slight on the op. Nade in, no damage done. Peeks out from Droid, and he's chased back and away. Good combo, good support from Micro. And Droid will elect to fall all the way back to the site proper. Now what did Timbermen do? Because they're down a man. They're pretty much down the 8-ball in terms of firepower.
Now they're just going to extend their way into the B site. Detonate, Micro, and Brett chime in, even though Dare can clasp one back. I think if you're Droid, you just want to head for the hills. He's just staying on that A site to hold on to this A4. Snap looking for anything else that he can pull back, but to no avail. Bomb goes down, lead taken for Detonate. They climb themselves up to double digits. And we're slowly starting to breathe down the neck of that coveted 16 rounds. And that momentum is slowly starting to build up here.
I mean, Detonate do have a 64.3% win rate on the T side.
Mm-hmm.
So they very much like this side of the map. Everybody does. And Detonate, this is where they earn the rounds on this map. Save again for Droid. Snav saving the armor. That'll be helpful for him. Lots of money available for Timbermen. They should be able to have full utility. Should be able to have the rifles. The op for Dare. Slight has one as well. You might see the Opera's duel now reversed. How aggressive will Dare play? I would assume decently aggressive. Double op setup for Timbermen.
I like it. I mean, if you want to post up one player on back default, it definitely works wonders on the B site. It's a very easy, like, kind of post up AWP that you can use, but they're actually going to like to put both of the AWPs on the same site. And with these nade setups, I think you can kind of disassemble this AWP prowess very quickly if you're Detonate. A couple well-placed smokes and this can get really dicey for him.
That's a big win for Dare. Frankie, though, falls down as Cryptic doubles up. Burns alive in the end, so we're left at an even 3-on-3. Dare peeks out wide. Micro stays in the fight, and he loses that one to the op. Not really a likely scenario. He's going to win that on a repeat from the op. He tries it anyways. 3v2 to the favor of the Timbermen. The bomb's still not yet crossing to the site to go down. And Detonate burning through all their utility. Just a flash left with 55 seconds on the clock. Even crossing to the obelisk is going to be a very hard task with Dare posted up on this. And he's good on the flicks, too. So it's not like they can just go for a jumping place, try and strafe around, get that bomb down. One flash for Brett. And are they gonna back? No, surely they don't back. There's no time. The flash comes in. The cross will have to be perfect. And it doesn't blind Dare at all. Brett's blind as a bat. And Dare is going to bat him down.
Yeah, this leaves Brett in an impossible scenario. The team flash comes through. And I think the bait out of the shots, but there's such a double setup. It's too strong. And we go right back into even Stevens, 10 apiece. And Detonate still have themselves a little bit of a bye. But I honestly thought with that double entry from Cryptic, the site was free. They could find a way to filter into the site. But I suppose the B main push was just not strong enough. Dare a little bit too powerful on that angle.
No op this time for Slide to use. Cryptic relegated to a Mac 10. Freshy going through the smoke, pushing all the way up mid. He's going to continue his aggression. Spots the nade fly through. Might just catch Droid off. He's done some damage, but not enough for a kill as Droid does not want to risk everything here. Bait a little bit of a lurk towards B from Brett, but this mid control, this mid-A split potential from Detonate has to be activated. They have to get through Snav and Droid, though. That's going to be a bit of a tough proposition. The Flames will even make it more so, as Cryptic is very vulnerable here. Are we going to see a classic case of Molotov tick?
It didn't tick somehow, and he gets to stay alive. They throw the mid smoke. I believe this is on CT Con side. so they can just take the eight-sided fight early. Like, the smoke doesn't allow them to fight, but I say that Freshie just rips his head off. Dare now on the angle, and here comes this A split.
4-on-4, Dare will even this or actually grab a lead in terms of manpower with a big one onto Micro. Drops the bomb as well. Snav around the smoke, spots the leg, and Slight goes down. Freshie trying to bring something back. The bomb on his back. He has to get it down eventually. Jumps up, runs away. Just doing a little bit of chip damage, taking more. Frankie on the flank has come up from behind. Dare finishes off Brett on the 1-for-1. Timbermen back in the lead, 11-10. And the money for Detonate is in the bin. They're looking worse than Silicon Valley Bank right now.
Absolutely. And at this
point...
point...
That's a timestamp, doesn't it?
Of course, of course. Oh, beautiful. And it's just pistols now for Detonate. They've got nothing to write home about. It is, in fact, in the bin. Basically relegating over 12 to Timbermen. And to do it on their opening Anubis game is just fascinating. That they look this drilled. Brett does get one, but that's all she wrote.
The pistol, the Tech 9, it only found one, and the gun seems to be unrecoverable as of now. Flames to keep Detonate at bay. Snav sprays, looks for something, cannot pick it up. The bomb inching towards A. As Frankie creeps up B main, B long, and in towards T spawn. Lots of ground gained and information for the Timbermen. The Glock's now in hand. Probably not much of a threat. Big miss by Dare, but he doesn't miss the second time. Slight gets caught in the backside. Droid up top, takes a dink, but it should be good for more than just one. Bomb going down is the main goal of this round, and it's accomplished. So overall, not bad. Not too bad at all.
Yeah, you don't take that if you're Detonate. You know, understand that the money is not the hottest right now. And they'll do a little bit of BMing, I'd like to think, just because there is literally no utility or pistols to upgrade into. This is purely to get under the skin of these Detonate players.
It's just giving them a longer timeout.
Oh, also true. Also true. Talk things over. I'm just running off of a track record of what we know some of these players love to do.
Oh, I meant it was giving Detonate a timeout.
Of course, yeah.
And look,
yeah.
they instantly pop it, too. It's just... If I'm Detonate, I'm just using that time to talk. I'm not getting tilted by that at all. So more like, hey, thanks, guys. I could use that time to figure things out and talk things over, because what we're doing right now ain't working.
And they take a timeout themselves to extend that conversation. Slight takes out an AWP of his own. So you can definitely see stylistically how different these two T sides are. But thus far, it really is that brute force nature that has been coming out on top. Other than that initial buy round fake, there hasn't been enough to kind of suggest to me that Detonate are confusing Timbermen. Like, Timbermen are really sticking to their guns. Their rotations and reads have been pretty swift, and they've been pretty accurate as well. Finding a way into these rounds, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is. Timbermen showing a lot of resiliency and a lot of gumption, too. Been very fun to watch them play on this map so far. Their first foray into Anubis, at least officially. Who knows if they've been scrimming behind the scenes. But they were more than happy to let it through. That says something. They were ready for it. Rotation back towards A from Detonate. Maybe going for an early take, because all five are pretty much ready to go. Little bit of E-box control with that smoke, but Timbermen just stationary on their sides, giving up mid-control as well. There's a lot of space to be found there for Detonate if they take the time to go for it. Freshie going to be a little bit late, and Snav has rotated in to join the party, but as his teammates are pressured on site, he has the bolster. There's only two on A, and Droid gets mowed down through the smoke. Open plant for Brett this time, too. Detonate just posting up for these post-plant positions. Freshie might even just get this. Ooh, that's ugly from Freshie, but he comes up with it in the end. Cryptic eliminating Snav in the meantime. Brett, nice little fight onto Frankie. And Dare wants nothing to do with it, but Freshy's hot on his heels. Cryptic coming through here as well. Whoa, Droid? I mean, Dare? Dare, what was that?
Seemed like a little bit of a lock there, if you ask me.
All right, Dan M. I'm just wondering what possessed it to move his mouse like that, unless he was looking for a jump off the box.
He doesn't get punished either way. He doesn't get to keep that AWP. He can reinvest for sure, but that does also mean that they're going to have to expend all of their economy in this round. There's a very, very important swing round in the grand scheme of this map. Keep in mind, I mean, in terms of the series, this is also playoff implication. Winner goes through, loser goes home, if our calculations are correct. And it starts out with an opening pick for Snap. That's so big. The double, triple nade setup actually doesn't even net them anything for Detonate. And now they have to find a way through this 4v5 with Cryptic down to 18 HP, now 14.
And maybe less. Wow.
Burns out Frankie.
It gives him more space. I think a 4v3 is probably a little easier for the T-set than a 5v4. Just by virtue of having to split that CT defense up a little bit more.
Of course, yeah, they could definitely find a way to pivot the defense a little bit more now that it's down to 4. But the problem at this point is they've got no flashes to get any of these players off some angles, and they've used already one of their Molotovs. Slight tries to pre-fire, doesn't find anything, maybe trying to goad in a CT response, and it does. Snav has found his way onto the A-plat. But it's this E-box play that they're looking towards. It's only Shane on the site. Ollie to catch a timing, and Micro still goes down. Dare is finally chimed in, and it's just Slight. The big man up for the job. Can he do it again? Another big clutch he might need here. Tries to wallbang, tries to no-scope, but gets nothing. Now it's down to just the pistol. And it's all she wrote. An admirable attempt, Boggs, but it's still 13 on the board, and Timbermen find a way back into that round, even after being split thin there.
Valiant but futile. And the money for Detonate is in a very awkward spot. They're going to invest. It's going to be rifles across the board. Cryptic most likely falling to the Galil and the smoke. Not a lot of flashbangs for Detonate. 3 overall. 4 mollies. 3 smokes, and 2 HEs. But Timbermen, Dare especially, have had the number of Detonate on a number of occasions. 24 and 17 for Dare. But
This
both
is that
Brent
kind
and
of-
Sight at 20.
This is that kind of exciting performance that we were looking for from Dare. It's always very just electrifying to see on the server when he is going. And excitingly, we've gotten both of them showing good performances, both the AWP showing good performances, but more so Dare. Just at the right place at the right time. But this time, I believe it might just be this B play.
Oh, Slight. That's huge. That's a free pick. No return damage over the edge of the smoke. Snav gets caught. And Slight's had a few big rifle rounds. Going back to that Falmus 2K as well. This could be a big one. Micro's got to get one. And he does.
Oh, and he gets away too. Information on the AWP. Michael can just toy with Dare here. And so while that's happening, they're going to try to pivot back to E-Box. The stack is here. Oh, and Shane, just a matter of seconds there on the timing. And it's just Frankie left on the site. He gets one, but he can't get the second. And that should confirm a 12th for Detonate. Really like the way they were pulling around those rotations. It made Timberman uncomfortable. And as soon as they try to go looking for answers, that's when Micro pounces on that aggression. Gets to live as well. And very well orchestrated mid-round there from Detonate to confirm a 12th round.
All starts with that pick from Slight, though, over the smoke. Without that, Timbermen don't get thrown into confusion. That opening kill so critical for Detonate. I don't think they're going to hunt too much, though. They really don't have the money to go for this. If they find him, they find him, but it's not going to be priority number 1 or even 2. It's going to be staying alive and keeping these guns up. But again, just going back to that smoke frag, that forces the peek into Micro. That forces the aggression. And Timbermen get caught.
They love their aggression, Timbermen, and they do get punished. You're exactly right. That boost was very well orchestrated, well timed as well. Understanding what Snav like to do. And they're in a double eco scenario here, Boggs. They're going to have to buy down. This is potentially an evening situation for Detonate and potentially the lead on the back of it. You've still got the ever-present threat of Dare's AWP. But it's kind of now or never for Detonate to seize this opportunity. Ooh, nice little triple nade to bring Droid down to 40.
You got to keep an eye on the Deagles, too. You can't underestimate those. It's not going to be the easy round for Detonate that you might think it would be just looking at the buy. They're going to have to struggle to get every inch of ground on this round. Timbermen very tenacious in these situations. Slow and steady from Detonate. 2-1-2 default. Hoping for a push and a peek. But Timbermen know better. They've got the advantage in a close-up sight fight.
Detonate, meanwhile, Micro has gotten all the way up A main. Easily allows himself to tuck in a cubby. Ooh, missed smoke there from Dare. No harm, no foul. Frankie's going to start to look for something. Gets one for his troubles. But the bomb is kind of indecisive. It's pulling back, especially after that early kill onto Frankie. Brett searching for a little bit more. Dare's now here to chime in. Ooh, Micro's made a little bit of noise. They're trying to sell something on this A site, but Timbermen aren't biting, Boggs. They're sticking to the 3 on the B site.
Yeah, which... it's going to favor Detonate if they make the call to go to A, but no, they're going to go back to B. They're hoping that the fake is sold. Now Micro's found one on A. They have Freshie in the back line. The rotation's coming through. 1 and 2 for free for Freshie. Shane with 1 from the back of A. But he's going to back out and try and counter Freshie as the bomb will get planted here. 11 seconds. They're still not with full site control. They will get the bomb down, but that's only because we have the map view where we can be confident for that. Detonate rather, not be very confident at all. Quaking in their boots as Timbermen still instilling the fear regardless of their lack of firepower. That op is recoverable for Droid as well. That'll be tossed back to Dare. Overall, they're going to come out of this with 2 guns. They're going to come out of this round with more firepower than they entered it. And that is a win for Timbermen.
But the flip side of that is they can't even upgrade the pistols this time. It's just going to be this. And they don't even get to shave Shane's rifle. Droid trying to run for the hills, but this is a very smart hunt from Detonate. They understand that they want to confirm that 14th round and inch their way closer. And Micro rips his head off. They recover the AWP for Slight. And that's an immaculate hunt. Super important that that goes in their way. Because this basically just confirms and locks in a 14th round for them. And ever confirm their map pick in this situation.
This is necessary for Detonate's playoff hopes, this map. Mirage, the way Timbermen are playing, is going to be very good for them. I'm going to get ready for Vertigo, personally.
Absolutely.
This one is giving me 3 map vibes.
You can see just the individual prowess. These Timbermen players are online, and that's where they do their best work when these individuals are online, and Mirage is where they thrive. They have these just deadly B-pops that can just be sprung at any moment, and I'm not necessarily sure if Detonate can go toe-to-toe with that right out of the gates. It takes some time to get warmed into.
Mm-hmm. Good nades onto Frankie. Whoever plays that position has been getting damaged significantly by Detonate. I'm gonna have
They've got
to
some really
put that in my
nice
back pocket.
nades. Yeah.
I think a lot of that credit does have to go to Mix and the coaching staff behind him.
Yeah, you can definitely see that they're much more drilled this time around. They've got a nice, cute little setups with those nades, and it's done wonders for them. Stack on the B bomb site should get destroyed with Cryptic with a beautiful little spray transfer with just 1 mag, mind you. Slight closes it out. The aforementioned 14th is on the board now. Guns out for Timbermen. Dare gets his AWP. And this is it. This is basically one of, if not the only round that could decide the game.
Pretty much. If Timbermen lose it and don't save 3 guns, it's pretty much done. If they lose it and they only have none surviving, Detonate have almost a free pass. Not quite a free pass, mind you, because the Deagles can always be deadly, the 5.7s as well. But this is really where this map hinges for Timbermen. For Detonate as well, they do struggle to close things out sometimes. So definitely something to keep an eye on is how Detonate hold their own nerve and stick to their own game. Not to get drawn into the Timbermen playstyle. Peek dry from Slight and Slow. You're not going to beat Dare with that. And that's the opening pick Timbermen desperately need. Off of that, though, Micro's going to probe in towards A. Droid is repositioned. He's the lone man here. And Detonate are calling this one back. Following up towards A. Droid gets spotted, but he's able to drop some util. Micro trying to close the gap on the site, pick up some ground, allow that bomb to go down, and begin that play for the hold. Have to be a hero play. The bomb is so far behind. Finally making its way through. I mean, that smoke, I don't know if that necessarily went as high as they wanted it to.
They can boost over that, the CTs, if they wish. And I'd ideally like to hold on to that smoke for the post plant, but they can't. They're going to have to let it fade. They're going to have to get aggressive. So they use that flash to prime themselves into a fight mid. It's going to be the CT fight. Huge kill onto right there. And the kills go all in favor of Cryptic. It's into the 1v1.
Oh, Dare's made the swap into the sound. And the headshot from Brett will seal the deal! He had a few pixels on the top of the helmet and delivers a cranial cave-in. Brett, a hero play. As some of the Detonate fans are prone to say, Brettonate. And they've got to map point here. 15-13. This buy is abysmal. FAMASs, 3 of them. You never want to see 3 FAMASs in a round. 2 MP9s, no defuse kit at all. And honestly, they really couldn't have sacrificed anything to buy that kit unless they wanted to sacrifice util. And I think util is a little more important at this stage of the game right now for the Timbermen.
Yeah, I think that is the final nail in the coffin. It's pots and pans to defend yourself in round number 29. E-box control imminent. B-main control already taken. Ooh, decent little spam there on a Frankie. But this aggression, there's a timer on this. Slight goes down, but how much more can he get? He gets another dare. And this definitely throws a wrench into the works. He's got to come up to Cryptic to get this E-box kill, and he doesn't. And that's all she wrote in round number 29. There's not much for Frankie to speak of in this round. He does get 1, but dink down to 2 HP. We're going all 30.
Not quite at parity, but it will be there if we go to overtime here on map number 1. And this is only map 1 of a best of 3 here between Timbermen and Detonate. The pick of Detonate. And we definitely did, I think, give this one the apt description, Paladin. 2 teams pretty much equivalent on skill. It's just going to come down to the veto and how certain individuals are playing on this given Tuesday night. And it's been some pretty big performances from Detonate. 4 players separated by 2 kills. 2 at 24, 2 at 22. Meanwhile, it's the Dare show over on Timbermen. 30 and 21. And Droid has just dropped Micro. Big opening duel for Timbermen. They have been highly successful when they've grabbed that first.
They want that overtime. It's just right underneath them. 4 frags to go, but Slight pulls it back. Frankie overextends. I don't think he was aware of how deep Slight was. And now this gives him a free route on the A bomb site should they decide to extend. But it's just his breaks that they love to slam on. Because they know Snav is one of those types of players that give them another opening advantage. And I think Dare missed Cryptic with a long-range spray. And it's just Droid. Herculean effort in the back of Cake, and he can't even get a single one. A man advantage, a 5v4 evaporates for the Timbermen, and it's just Shane in a 1v4 to take them into overtime. It's a valiant attempt on their debut on Anubis, but I think, Boggs, this is the end of the road on map number 1.
I think Shane is going to be cut down momentarily. It's a matter of when, not if. The crossfire setup, Freshie and Brett around the corner. Tag and Freshie with the bag. Detonate with map number 1. A narrow victory, but a victory nonetheless. And it definitely took a lot of mental fortitude from Detonate to close that one out because they were faced with a lot of adversity, especially in that last round too. Going down with that initial pick with no response. Slight puts the team in his backpack, gets him to a 4v3, and then the rest is Cryptic.
I'm very impressed with what Timbermen showed, though. I could definitely see that they've done their homework.